I want you to really hone this in because we have decades of patterns and habits to break. I want you to stop promoting your services, your Sunday morning worship services, gatherings, whatever it looks like. Now, I'm not saying you should kill it entirely, but I'm saying let's stop making it the focus of your messaging. Okay, this is kind of where we get in a lot of trouble with marriage, right? And I think one of the reasons why we see divorce rates going up is because we've made marriage kind of an idol of sex, which is already an idol of itself. We talk about no sex till marriage. We don't really talk about no intimacy till marriage, no vulnerability till marriage. What does marriage actually look like? We have a lot of young people that are getting married just because they're trying to stay pure, right? And this is in the Christian world. They're trying to stay pure, and they're like, "Hey, I'm ready. Let's do this so we can jump in the sack." And they get married prematurely. They don't go through the counseling. They're just thinking that it's all about sex and happiness, right? Even in the other side of the coin, marriage is all about, let's make our taxes easier. We're already living together. Let's go and just get married and make everything easier. They're getting married for the wrong reasons. They don't understand the mystery of marriage, as Paul describes it, right? Of how this is actually a union and representation. They don't go through that premarital counseling. They don't go through all the ins and outs of understanding what marriage is. To them, it's just about sex and happiness. And because of that, the marriage is failing. Now, listen, when we promote our churches, it's kind of the same way. When we just promote our worship services and our Sunday gatherings and whatever else is super important that we want people to come to, we are creating an image that this is what all the church is about. And listen, I talked to a pastor who told me, it might have been the same pastor actually. He's like, I want people to understand that our church is outside the building. Our church is a group of people. We're not just a worship service. I said, great. So if someone comes to your website, what's the one thing you want them to do? And he said, I want them to come to Sunday morning. Listen, like what you tell people is what they're going to think about you. Okay. It's kind of like that friend that friends you on Facebook from high school, that friend from high school that friends you on Facebook. And you're like, dude, I haven't talked to you in like 8 or 10 years, or maybe even longer, 20 years. And they're like, yeah, I'm so excited to friend you. Have I got a new work from home opportunity for you where you can make $10,000 a month only working an hour a day? And you are like, block, mute, unfriend. This was a waste of time, right? So if you just constantly peek into people's lives or barge into their lives and you just say, hey, come over here. Have I got a great opportunity for you? That's how you're going to sound like. Now, let's look at the data. What I'm going to show you here comes out of a brand spanking new, like literally totally changed what I was going to talk about this week because this data is so important and I'll just show you. This comes out of a new Barna publication. We'll call it a publication, white paper, research report. I don't know what you call it. Okay. It's called Making Space for Community. This is part of a series here and I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to hopefully remember that I'm sharing it and, you can see it on the YouTube or if you're watching Spotify video. If you're listening, I'm going to read everything so you can see it, but there are some graphs that we're going to look at. It would be worth finishing this and then going back to watch the YouTube video. Okay. This is a new series called Making Space. And the second of the series is called Making Space for Community and how the church building is supposed to function in the realm of community, discipleship, all that other good stuff. So that's what I'm looking at. That's where I'm pulling this data from. I don't know anything about research, but I trust Barna. They seem to be on the level with everything, and they seem to be really good at the research. So this report, we're not going to sit here and read the report. I would love to do like a 5-hour live stream and just read the report, but I don't have the audience to make that worth my time. I'd rather be spending that time with clients. But listen, just a few things at this report, just to give you a little teaser here of everything that's in this report before we do commentary on it. Churches should be, adults view churches as fulfilling a variety of roles, okay? Churches should exist today to facilitate people and connection and relationships. There's an emphasis on relationships over sermons, which we're going to talk about in just a second. And when it comes to the church experience, I read that 1 in 4 Christians, this is not what we're talking about today, but this is one of the stats they come in. 1 in 4 Christians say they don't know many people at their church. That's a problem, right? Because we've been emphasizing sermons over relationships. There's also stuff in here about satisfaction with your church, the church as a headquarters of discipleship, and a little bit of how online and in-person church should function and facilitate. So All that is in this report. We're going to talk about two specific things today. Okay, that was a total distraction. Let me get back into what we're talking about, which is, hey, you need to stop promoting your service primarily and talk about these three things instead. I'm going to pull up one report here on this page. Give me just a second to go back to my tab. This is why I don't do a lot of screen sharing on podcasts, because it takes me a second here to switch screens and all that. But in here, they survey Christians on and non-Christians on why the church should meet. Okay, so let me go back to my screen. So, man, so many pop-ups here on my computer. So they talk about why churches meet, and there's a lot of information here and the purpose of a church. And I want to focus and key in right now on one specific report here. So they asked people in regards to Christian churches, how churches should use their physical space. Okay. So which of the following do you feel should be the purpose of a church's physical space? The number one top answer, 40% of people said not Sunday morning worship. Okay. They said providing a place for prayer, meditation, or reflection. Okay. Number two is not worship service. Okay. Number two is providing a place for spiritual growth. And number three is not worship. It is providing safety and security. Then you get to number four, providing worship and fellowship. And if you're curious, if you're listening and can't see this, in the order following, creating a sense of community, providing community service, aiding people in experiencing the presence of God, facilitating the sharing of gospel. I think that needs to be higher. Providing a place of respite from the world, serve as a physical space for religious practice that is recognizable from people outside, providing a place for religious leaders to teach, and providing a place that is fun and exciting to attend. Notice that last one I just read. Providing a place that is fun and exciting to attend. We will come back to that. But look at the top three here. Providing a place for prayer, meditation, and reflection. Providing a place for spiritual growth. Providing safety and security. This is what your people are looking for in your community. So when we look at promoting our churches, are we promoting not even the top three things that they actually care about and want to see in a church? And I'm not saying that we bend the knee and do what the community wants. I'm saying we need to present ourselves in a way that we're already doing, in a way that is important to what people are needing. And no one is walking around saying, man, I need a Sunday service to go to. They are walking around and saying, I need something more. There is an itch in my heart that I cannot scratch, that nothing in this world is scratching. Where can I get this from? That's spiritual growth. They are saying, I am stuck. I need to get out of this abusive relationship. I need to get out of this addiction. I need someone to help me get safe. That is safety and security. Or maybe I just need a place to get away from the world and focus on God. I just need a place to self-reflect. I just need a place to go reset everything. That's a place of prayer, meditation, and reflection. Okay. And notice too, even facilitating worship and fellowship. I mean, that's pretty much the worship service. That's answer number 4. And creating a sense of community is number 5. Those are only 1 percentage point difference. To me, they're pretty much right alongside each other. Okay. So the community is is almost just as important. I mean, within a point difference. In fact, I think it's within the margin of error, they said, to facilitating worship. So I consider those right on par. So if people are walking around and saying, hey, this is what I think a church does, or this is what I think a church should do, if your church is providing that, that is how you get people to pay attention. That is how you get people to pay attention to you. Now listen. God, my screens are all over this place. The top 3 results here are not about service. Again, they are about what the community needs the most. Okay. If you ask, what's the purpose of the vacuum? I'm going to say, yeah, it sucks up dirt, but I'm going to probably say it cleans my carpet. It gets all the dog hair out. It helps me do that. Why? Because I don't need something that sucks something up. I need something that cleans my carpet, that gets my carpets clean enough for my toddler to roll on. Okay. It's not about the features. It's about what it means for me. And so, yeah, your church can have a service on Sunday mornings. Your church can provide these services and missions and opportunities for your community, but what does it mean for them? Why should they care? This is why we talk about yeah, you're doing something. Why should people care? Meaning, is there a way that you can link it to bringing people in for prayer, meditation, and reflection, bringing people in for spiritual growth, bringing people in for safety and security? Or are you just saying, come over here because we meet at 11? Right? There are ways to do this wisely. There are ways to do it unwisely. And by the way, you notice here, let me go back to my screen. Notice here that the very last option here, the very last one, we think churches should the purpose of a church is to provide something that is fun and exciting to attend. The very last one. What is that? 9%. Okay. And I think as pastors and church leaders, we have flipped the script on that. We think, well, what can we do to get people excited to come to church? Like, you don't have to do anything. Make it a place that's safe, secure, gives them an avenue for spiritual growth, prayer, meditation, and reflection. Those things alone will get people excited because that's what they think a church should provide for them. Now, you do provide that. You do it in your own context, and you can promote that context to the people, but do it in a way that's not Sunday mornings at 11, okay? And maybe even as you seek to build out your discipleship pathway, maybe that step one is not Sunday service, but maybe that step one is coming in for prayer, meditation, reflection, spiritual growth, or safety and security. All right. There's one more picture here. Meaningful church experience. Look at what people say creates a meaningful church experience. Number one, connecting to God. Growing closer to Jesus. The presence of the Holy Spirit. Emotional comfort, spiritual development. Okay? All of those ranked higher than anything else related to the service, right? The service, things like worshiping together, learning about the Bible, the pastor, the sermon, tithing. Less than 50% said that's very important, okay? More than 50% of people said this is really important. Connecting to God, growing closer to Jesus, presence of the Holy Spirit, emotional comfort, and spiritual development. Are you promoting those in your church promotions? Or are you just saying, come to service because it's at 11 o'clock and you can bring your kids and we have a nursery? I'm terrible at this too. Already I'm thinking of 2 websites we built in the last month in April. And I'm like, we got to go back and we've got to really push this there. Right? I think we nailed it with one. I'll show it to you at the end of the show. So when you say plan a visit, what am I planning a visit to? Am I going to come plan a visit and know what to hear about the sermon or meet the pastor? Less than half of your people are going to care about that. Are we going to learn about the worship experience? Less than half the people are going to care about that. So instead of what to expect, the features of the service, how about expect to connect to God? How about expect to grow closer to Jesus? How about to expect the presence of the Holy Spirit? How about to expect emotional comfort? How about to expect spiritual development? Expect answers. Okay? In fact, community ranks up just as high as worshiping together and learning about the Bible. By the way, this report is, I think it's $20, or you can get their membership. We just have a membership; it's easier. It's like $20 a month, so you basically get all the reports for the price of one. I'm not an affiliate. I'm not a sponsor. I don't even know anyone at Barna. I think I know one person at Barna. So she's actually part of Glue, so I don't even know if that's the same. But this is really good stuff. So what does this mean? Let's wrap this back up into your church. Okay. And by the way, I'm only making 2 points today because these are so meaty and beefy. Okay. Here's what it means so you can build a faith community by reaching out to your community. Number one, you don't have to make the service your number one priority. It should probably not even be your number 2 priority. What do we talk about? Providing a safe space for prayer, meditation, reflection. Okay. Providing meaningful spiritual growth. Providing a place for people to connect to God. Yes, your service can do all of this, but then when you promote your service, promote those things, not the features, okay? And by the way, when I keep seeing features, there's a saying in marketing, no one wants a hole in the wall. Or excuse me, no one wants a drill, they want a hole in the wall. Right? And you're kind of like, "Oh, okay, so don't just talk about the thing, talk about what the thing does." But that doesn't go far enough. Okay? No one wants a hole in their wall. I have holes all over my house from the previous owner, okay? They want to hang a picture, okay? So that's the feature, advantage, benefit. The feature is the drill has 52,000 RPMs. I don't know, I just made up a number. The advantage is you can put the hole in the wall quickly. But the benefit is you're going to have a beautiful hanging picture. And you can even go deeper. You're going to love walking into your house. Okay? You've seen those ads that take it a little too far, like buy the Black & Decker drill. You're going to love your home after you buy this drill. And you're like, what? No, that doesn't make any sense. But their connection can be there. So don't talk about your service at 11, and don't even talk about or spend a lot of time on what to expect in worship. Talk about what transformation and the benefit is for people choosing your church. Are they going to connect to God? Are they going to feel the Holy Spirit? Are they going to discover their purpose? Are they going to be healed? What does that look like? So feature, advantage, benefit. I should do a whole show on that, just that. Feature is what you do. Advantage is why it's good or better than everyone else. And the benefit is what kind of transformation can you expect? So don't focus on the service. Focus on safety, security, prayer, reflection, meditation, whatever the other one was, okay? Spiritual growth. All right. And the second thing is you no longer have to hype yourself up. So many pastors are saying no one wants to come to our building because it's blank, blankety, blank, blank. Okay. Well, guess what? People aren't coming to your building because of that. Now, you do need to have an updated building. I was very upset when I put on Facebook, I get frustrated when pastors tell me they want to reach more people and they want the church to be more than a building. But instead of having us do outreach for them, they just replace the carpet or paint the walls. It's a very frustrating experience for me. And so many people thought I meant that churches just need to be neglected, eviction worth, and derelict and about to crumble. I'm not saying that. Okay. If you got a leak in your roof, fix the leak in your roof. Okay. Your church. In fact, there's even some data in here about the importance of having an excellent designed church, a well-meaning reflection, almost a reflection of God's design in the design of our church. There is some data to support that, not nearly as much as what we're talking about here, which is why I didn't pick that to talk about. But you no longer have to hype yourself up and pretend you're not something that you aren't, because as long as your worship is facilitating people to connect with God, to grow personally more closer with Jesus, to feel the presence of the Holy Spirit, to spiritually grow, spiritually mature, be discipled, have community. As long as you have all that, which most local small churches do, then you need to be promoting yourself and going out there because that's what people are looking for. And if you say, we don't have good music, our sound system's not great, we don't have great live streaming, guess what? People don't care about that as much as community, faith, spiritual growth, and having a safe and secure place to work out their faith. So we have no reason to cower and say, we've got to fix our building. We've got to fix our worship. What we are already doing is what people are looking for. Let's go tell them it exists, and it exists at your church.